Trump lied to you about building a wall. He lied to you about lowering your grocery bills. He lied to you about not starting any new wars. But y'all still support him because you're in a cult and you're society's sore losers.
Donald Trump is literally, and I mean literally, the worst president we have ever had. And you will never, ever change my mind on that. He has been the most divisive, destructive, cruelest president we have ever had. Normally, a president comes in and cares about the people, unites the people, no matter their party. Their goal is to bring America together, and he has not wanted that for a second. The first term was the worst that has ever happened. This second term is the worst times 10, because now he doesn't give a shit. He's about to die. He has no more terms left, and he is on a total revenge tour.
Do you know why Donald Trump is by far the worst president ever? Well, I'm going to try and explain it to you as quickly as I can. He is destroying our economy, the stock market, international relations, consumer confidence, our system of government, the balance of power, judicial independence, Social Security, Medicaid, medical research, airline safety, our national parks, veterans benefits, our education system. He's trampled over our freedom of the press, ended life-saving humanitarian efforts, created havoc throughout our government workforce, enabled incessant lying, is destroying environmental protections, has the least qualified, most unethical administration ever, is letting the measles run wild, has enabled Elon Musk's minions to steal our most sensitive data and store it who knows where, is essentially kidnapping people off the street to be tortured in El Salvador without any due process, has unleashed nonsensical, unnecessary, inflation-igniting tariffs, is whitewashing our history. He's using the White House to make a gargantuan amount of money for himself and his family while helping Putin in every way possible and letting the heroic Ukrainian people suffer, all while inflation continues to grow. It's insane. For more of this content, please also follow me on midterms_messaging on Instagram and Blue Sky. Thank you.
Before he got in office, all those criminals coming in here, he closed the border.
I love my country, and I hate what is happening to it.
He's a grifter, liar, manipulator. Seeing the treatment of American citizens is concerning.
He's the best one we've had since Ronald Reagan.
We came to North Carolina to visit some small and rural communities considered Trump country to get a better sense of how the president's supporters are feeling.
I think he's doing all right.
I think he's doing a great job. I think he's listening to the people, and I think he does what the people say.
So how do Donald Trump supporters feel about his handling of controversial issues? Let's start with immigration.
I don't think anybody wishes that anyone would have been killed, but the reality is that there's that situation that is developing in Minneapolis where ICE is trying to conduct their lawful duties. They have to do that. It's not optional for them.
The protesters are just idiots. I hate people get killed, but if you act like a fool, you get treated like a fool.
Those people were in these groups that were taught to go out and harass the ICE people. I mean, they're helping their communities be safer by getting those people out.
Oh, he's doing a fine job. He had to come in and straighten out a lot of mess.
Is there anything that stands out to you that you like most about what he's doing?
I like the fact that he can't be controlled.
When it comes to Canada, voters here view Trump's threats as a joke, and some are even aware of the Alberta separation movement. What do you think about how Trump has talked about Canada?
I think it's funny. I think he's doing it to get a reaction out of people. If you live in Alberta, I support you.
Oh, Alberta separation.
A lot of us down here refer to them as Snow Texas. They share a lot of the common values that I would associate with American values. Whether they want to be an independent state or if they wanted to join the union, then I would be cool with that.
Voters here who support Democrats tell us with everything that's gone on so far this year, it's only hardened their opposition.
It's very depressing and concerning, especially with all the corruption and the disgusting people he's pardoned.
We love Canada.
Yep.
That's all.
To Trump with the tariffs, you guys buy from somebody else, punish him for being an idiot. Thank you, Canada. We love you.
I never expected this, right? It's terrifying. You read about this stuff, you learn about it. It's part of history.
When does the time come that we rise up. We're looking at things that are happening in Minneapolis and Minnesota and around the country with ICE and the thuggishness and what I perceive to be nation fascism. Now, am I on the cusp of arming myself and rising up? No. But the fact that I asked the question is horrifying.
The worst president in U.S. history. How did he get into office? Oh my goodness. Guess what? The ratings of Trump are really dropping at the same time. And yet at the same time, they are saying that, you know what? He's the worst. Many people are saying he's the worst president, and organizations are saying he's the worst president in the U.S. history. Why? Because he has blocked aid. And this business of, moving foreign aid, which is like $5 billion to help fight famine in countries that would be American allies, that would have assisted the U.S. in their foreign missions. He blocked that $5 billion of foreign aid. And you see, and now I don't know where he's channeled it, but they're saying he's so much controlling the funds in the U.S. And he even scrapped off certain funds for people like the veterans and other beneficiaries in the U.S. And this has not gone down with so many people. They're like, no, this gentleman is so not okay. And even his stand against this thing of people missing out. They're saying, hey, they're losing out on Mexico because of the agricultural products, the produce which is coming in from Mexico, which is supposed to be supporting the American households. So they're like, this gentleman here, he's he's messing up the foreign, the allies and trade partners, and is basically going all rogue. What about...
Breaking news. The unthinkable just happened. The Wall Street Journal has ranked Donald Trump the worst president in modern history. And the bombshell? Every charge against him rings true, leaving Trump furious, exposed, and humiliated before the world. You won't believe what they just did to Trump. In this video, I will break it down for you. Before I start, touch the plus sign on our profile picture and give us your opinions in the comments section. The Wall Street Journal has done what few dared. It has ranked Donald Trump as the worst president in modern history, and the blow has left him reeling. Once a paper that often leaned conservative, the Journal's editorial board tore into Trump with a list of grievances so sharp it sliced through the gilded armor he loves to wear. From weaponizing the FBI against critics to treating the presidency as his personal revenge machine, every accusation landed like a thunderclap. For Trump, the sting was unbearable. This wasn't just another attack from the fake news he loves to mock. This was a publication respected by his base. Worse still, the criticisms rang with an uncomfortable truth he couldn't deny. His so-called victories were painted as vendettas, his leadership as chaos, and his second term as an empire of anger. Behind closed doors, insiders whisper that Trump was furious, pacing like a caged lion, yet privately haunted. Because deep down, he knew this wasn't slander. It was a mirror. And in it, America's most controversial president didn't see a legacy of greatness. He saw the shadow of failure staring back at him.
We're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back.
You know how I tell you Trump is the worst president by far? He's a piece of shit. We talked about the big issues like health care and taking money from the poor and the working class and giving it to the billionaire class and screwing up the judiciary and attacking free press and his disdain of actual science and experts. I can go on, but today I want to talk about something that's not in the news, but maybe more important than all of it. It's something called the pocket rescission. You probably never even heard of it. It's a sneaky move that presidents are not supposed to do. He's doing it. You've heard that the Congress has, quote, the power of the purse, meaning they are supposed to control how money is spent. A bill is proposed, they debate it, then it passes the House, hopefully then the Senate, and then the president, Biden or Obama or Trump, signs it, and that's a law. But Trump uses something called the pocket rescission. I'm not going to go into details about what it is, but in sum, what it is the president stops money from flowing out to the intended recipients on his own, without checking with Congress. For one big example, Trump is using it to block foreign aid that the Congress said should be spent. $5 billion that is used around the world to fight famine, to strengthen our alliances with other countries, which helps keep us safer. hopefully keeps Americans out of wars. So now he's also thinking about using it for things like Medicare or education or FEMA, disaster relief, especially like for blue states. The Bipartisan Government Accountability Office says point blank, this is illegal. The pocket rescission should not be used ever. Even some Republicans like Susan Collins always has concerns, but she said, quote, this is a clear violation of the law. It's him saying point blank, I, President Trump, I don't care what the Congress says. I will decide what I want to do with the money, the taxpayers' money. Like a king. This, my friends, is not how America is supposed to work. We don't have a king.
Donald Trump was just ranked the worst president in American history by the Presidential Greatness Project, which is a survey whose participants consist of academic scholars, political experts, and members of the American Political Science Association. And every year, they put out a rankings of all 46 presidents, ranking them from best to worst based on their accomplishments. And this year, they put Donald John Trump at number 46 on the list, making him the worst president in our nation's history. They also put Joe Biden at 14 on the list, although I'd put him a little higher considering he saved America from falling into a dictatorship and rescued the economy after Donald Trump decimated it due to his mishandling of the pandemic. But nevertheless, I think this list is very accurate to put Donald Trump at dead last because he was, in fact, the worst president in American history. And P.S., happy President's Day, Donald.
Give you the reasons why Donald Trump's presidency is bad? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, he violated a court order and refused to feed... Oh, you'll wait? Don't worry. You're not going to have to wait long. He violated a court order and refused to feed 42 million starving Americans, including 13 million children. He passed the largest redistribution of wealth from poor to the rich in modern American history, reducing the purchasing power of 156 million American low-income Americans just to increase the purchasing power by 3% for the top 1%. That also took healthcare away from 10 million low-income Americans and food stamps away from 3 million low-income Americans by defunding food stamps by $156 billion and funding Medicaid by $900 billion.
I really hope I'm wrong on this one, but I believe Donald Trump is about to become the worst president in American history, and here's why. Even if we just focus on Trump's main campaign promises, like how he wants to secure the border and fix the economy, if he goes through with the stuff he says he wants to do, America will take a hit. Think about it. With immigration, he says he wants to overturn the 14th Amendment and end birthright citizenship, which is ironic because Elon Musk's kids have birthright citizenship. Then you have his mass deportation plans, which would not only be unbelievably inhumane, but he'd be kicking out hundreds of thousands of farm workers who are here to work and contribute to our economy. Speaking of economy, what happens when we need to bring in some of that produce back by importing it from Mexico? Wrong. Trump wants to make goods from Mexico more expensive for American companies and American consumers. You might ask, well, what about Canada? No luck there either, as Trump wants to make lumber and crude oil more expensive, which we get from Canada. So it's going to cost more to fill up your car and more money to build a home. The list really goes on and on. I'll be sharing content throughout the Trump presidency on all my other platforms, which are linked in my bio in case this app goes dark. Thank you.
Raise your hand if you agree that Trump is the worst president in U.S. history. And let's be friends.
My name is Carlos Eduardo Espina. I live in Houston, Texas. And what I hope the president says in his State of the Union is that he's resigning because he's the worst president we've ever seen in history. He needs to go, and that would make us all happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That would be the only thing I think would be worth coming out of his mouth. So, is that going on C-SPAN?
Potentially.
Probably. Oh, yes.
Think what goes on there.
Hopefully the FCC doesn't.
100 days ago, Donald Trump came to this Capitol. He swore an oath, spoke to the American people, and promised to bring down prices. And then he started a trade war with our allies, and prices went up. He said we'd be a rich nation again. Then he collapsed the market, and trillions of dollars in savings have been lost. He promised a glorious destiny for Americans. Then he executed an agenda of, by, and for the billionaire class. And now supermarkets are warning they may not be able to stock their shelves. Republican politicians promised the American people they would have more money in your pocket, more opportunity for your family, more confidence in your future. But all we have seen is them take away health care, take away Social Security, take away veterans' benefits, take food away from children and seniors. That's not what anyone voted for.
Donald Trump is the worst president of the United States for America's children. The worst president American children have ever had in terms of their health, their education, the clean, safe environment in which they can thrive, including safety from gun violence, I would add, the job, economic security of their families, and a future that is fair and just in terms of yes, the planet, the air they breathe, but also the economic situation they live in. And he is giving them as a gift a $600 billion increase in the national debt for them to pay off as he takes away health care from them, takes down the Department of Education, and the rest of it. And that to this very point, the air they breathe, the water they drink, he doesn't care.
What about this thing of Canada? Talking about the lumber and then the crude oil. They're like, no, this guy has to really change his stand with Canada. They're like, no, this is really not fine. And then the way he runs and controls the White House, you know, it's like it was on PlayStation. Imagine, Trump. What would you do if you're Trump, Donald Trump? I think this gentleman was like, all these American presidents who have been here before can never be like me. Let me show them how an American president is supposed to be. I'm going to make myself great again. I'm going to make America great again. And then there's also this thing where I was saying, it's like, I'm going to make Iran great. Oh, make Iran great again. I mean, this great again thing, I don't understand. But guess what? This guy looks like a spoiled kid, who was given every toy in the world to control everything in the house by his parents. And so he's just pressing the button. Hey, Venezuela. Mexico. Cuba. Yes, North Korea. China. So he's basically playing around with the doors like that. I mean, you know.
Before I go in, I want to address what we learned today. Donald Trump has dragged us into a war the American people do not want. He has put American troops in harm's way. I unequivocally oppose this war of choice, and everyone should. And the bottom line, when it comes down to it, is that if we want to stop Donald Trump with this random decision that he has arrived at, then Congress must act, and Congress must act immediately. The American people do not want our sons and daughters to go into this unauthorized war of choice, and I unequivocally oppose it. Thank you.
Donald Trump is in the midst of committing political suicide. We're watching it. You know, I had a political science professor in college who, when I was graduating, said to me, you're going to run for office someday and you're going to be really good at this. So just remember one lesson. When your adversary is in the midst of committing suicide, there's no reason to commit murder. The result is the same. And Democrats can't understand this. The suicide is in progress, and the Democrats can't stop talking about Trump. What will happen is he will get worse after the midterms. Anybody who's been in an executive government position and you're in your last 2 years of your 8 knows what it's like. You, for 6 years, are the focus. And in the last 2 years, they're looking to who's next. He can't imagine that. He cannot imagine not being the center of every conversation, not being the center of every room that he walks into. Can you imagine when they have the first presidential debates for 2028 and he's not on the stage and millions of people are watching other politicians? It's going to lead him to be crazier than he is right now. And so all those things will contribute to people going, okay, I've had enough.
So this Trump administration is claiming that they are going after the worst of worst with their immigration policies. But the funny thing is, with the release of all of these Epstein files, it appears that the worst of the worst is actually in the White House. The worst of the worst is actually those who support Trump. The worst of the worst are political leaders around the world, and they are rich billionaires. These are the people who are the worst of the worst, not the immigrants, not all of these grandmas that they're rounding up at their immigration hearings. The worst of the worst are actually the people who are governing our politics. The worst, most corrupt administration that we have ever seen in the history of the United States. That is on Pennsylvania Avenue. And now Trump, patient number 47, is suing the IRS for billions of dollars. And he gets to decide how much his payout is. But here's the thing. He's actually suing you. He's suing you, the American taxpayer. You see, it's not bad enough that this man has destroyed this nation and destroyed the economy for the working class American. But now, in typical billionaire corrupt fashion, he is stealing the money out of your wallet. This man is suing the American taxpayer. Let that sink in. He's suing you, even though he's already made more goddamn money than he's ever made in his whole entire career since he's been president in this second term. But yet he feels the need to sue you. He feels the need to rob the American taxpayer even more. This whole idea of getting rid of the worst of the worst, and that it's all immigrants who are causing the problem, is complete bullshit. You know it, I know it, and every thinking American knows it. The Epstein files, the release of these files, have proved that. We all know what's really going on. We all know who the corrupt ones really are, and no matter how much Trump tries to hide it and conceal these files, the truth will always prevail. Like, share, follow for more. This is Grim with Get the Rant, and I'll see you all in the next video.
I know Donald Trump is bad, but Netanyahu has to be the worst president that America has ever had.
What it means. So, what is your take about Donald Trump? Could he be the America's worst president like it's being told? The worst president in the US history? Basically, the gentleman has done stuff, and as a matter of fact, you judge and tell me. He blocked a lot of stuff, and he has allowed a lot of stuff contrary to the previous administrations. And basically, I've never seen such opposition, such critique for against an American president like I'm seeing right now. So tell me what you think about this. Hit me up and I'll let you know in my comments. I'll respond exactly to you.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.